Well, I'm putting the interior back on this door, and I'm doing this on the real cheap. I'm not doing let's call it redneck restoration. I'm reusing this molding insulation, and I just had it tied up on the outside like that. So I carefully pried it out, and we put the pins back in here. Where the hell they go? Back in here someplace. The next thing now is on this bottom door, plastic door panel. Well, first off, I want to tell you something about these bottom plastic door panels. They will actually start falling apart after a while. They get discolored. The plastic starts getting brittle. What you could do is, and it took me a while to figure out what the color was to put on this. You'd see I use this color, SEM color coat, and this color, which turned out to be the wrong color, light oak. But what I did was it still turned out to be useful. I saturated it first, the plastic, with this after I chemically cleaned it and sanded it down, and the plastic was kind of brittle. But once you got this soaked into the plastic, it actually gives that plastic more strength. It actually makes it so like if you can't scratch on it with your fingernail and dig out some of that plastic. I don't feel like buying one of those for a couple $100. It's crazy, you know. So I'm putting this thing back on right now. I'm going to put a gun. I'm going to pick up a gun safe probably next week sometime, or whenever it comes in, or whenever I order. I'm going to probably get it from True Value Hardware, Liberty. And when I put that in, I might do a quick video on it. Not exactly too much on it, but when I put it in, it's going to be bolted down, and I'm going to weld more steel all around it, so it's it's beyond what the safe does for my little 22-inch stuff. Anyway, now these things. I found out that they weren't really the right size, so what I did was these are plastic things that are like missing out of here. Some of them are broken off. I'm going to grind a notch in here so I can slide this through, and what I did was I used the dremel tool to file these down so they can fit in here kind of tight. See, so it'll snap into place. So when I get that plastic on here, I'm not going to put any of the I'm not going to glue any of that what do you call it stuff on there, the plastic what do you call it, paper that was all around here. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Nah, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to, because this thing's plastic anyway. It's not going to freaking affect nothing. If there's a little moisture on the inside of this, it's not going to affect nothing. If there's a little moisture on the inside of this, somehow it'll just run out. I coated the inside of this door with several things, and let me show you what that is. Several things. Rust reformer was one, but after I did that, I used truck bed lining. Then after that, I used rubberized waterproof paintable undercoating. So it is pretty damn rust proof. I don't think that door will rust out from the inside anymore at all. And I also went across the bottom of it really good too, a few times. So I'll go around and get the body work on it perfect later on, but first I want to get this in here, get this door installed so I can use it. That's why I've been doing it like this project, because I can take it down off the jack stands after I check the fluids and stuff, and I can use it at any time. If I take the whole damn car apart, I can't use it when I need to use it. Like with this, I'll put the door panel on it, I can use it. That's why I don't want to take the whole damn car apart, but I want to get every speck of rust off of this and replace it with some new metal. But this thing, I'm not going to go buy a new door panel. Like I said, I just used a SEM coat, and I'm not going to buy these things. I have some of them laying around. I'll grind them to fit, and that's how we're going to roll, man. We're going to do it cheap, but it's going to be strong. Yeah, on these I just ground a little notch in here so I can slide them through. Figured that's a better way to do it. Yeah, these panels should really be replaced, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to grind a little notch in here right now. That'll work. And this should slide through. If not, we'll do a little more grinding. You know, I got to grind off the head of this a little bit, but once I get that, it'll slide through. Well, I got to do a couple more of these, but these little clips in the bottom. But I got 1, 2, 3. Those are all missing anyway. What I want to do is before I put this on, I want to give this a coat of rust reformer. I'll do those last two, just a coat of rust reformer. And I pinned up. I call it pinned up because actually how these, if you didn't notice, when I pulled down that rudder strip, there's pins that go in there, and actually I had to take a screwdriver and clear out the little hole where the pin goes, and to put them on I used this block of steel and then my S-wing hammer over the block of steel, so you know, that thing, to pound them in. And you know, the pins are in there nice and solid, so this is on here. Even though it's a little bit ratty, that thing, it's going to seal the door. Just the edge of it's ratty. Going across the front here, it's got a good seal. This is not high dollar. And you know, that's why I want to put out these kind of videos. I don't want to put out some high dollar bullshit. You can put out a lot of high dollar bullshit and say, oh yeah, look at this. This is the way to do it. It's cheap. It'll last. And that's what you want. You don't want a Google car. You want a car you can drive. So this is all on the inside, and it's unnecessary because nobody sees this. But then again, who knows if that piece might rust further, and at some time in the future, years from now, that piece will be needed to be replaced because I did not coat it with something. Now this was never coated with anything from the factory anyway, but you never know. That's what I do. Anyway, you know, like on the inside of this car, like up in here, you know, behind, you get behind that rubber adhesive, weather stripping, and that, take off that plastic. That's never been painted from the factory. So this is never. This was bare metal too. So, you know, I paint it. Now I'm going to tell you something else here, like, not that I'm bitching about anything, but I think there's some kind of plan or some kind of garbage to knock out more of the independent channels on the YouTube and stuff. And what I'm doing is, you know, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just going to keep working harder and harder and harder, because I noticed, like, I think it's the Motor Trend channel and stuff like that. They're going to have like a lot of stuff where you got to pay to subscribe and all that kind of crap. Jay Leno's got some stuff on YouTube, but then he's got pay to subscribe. So it's getting harder and harder to, you know, to make some kind of change on this thing. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop doing it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work harder, because I realize there's probably a plot to freaking stop people from doing this that are really independent. They don't like independent voices, maybe. Who knows? And you know, pull this wire through. This is my speaker wire. I didn't do that. Somebody did that a long time ago, but it works. Fuck it. It works. So anyway, these are my dirty little tricks. They're dirt cheap, and you can do things on the cheap. You don't need to freaking spend big bucks. And when I put this thing on, it's not going to be flapping in the breeze like it used to. I'm going to mention something else later, like how to repair a crack on here with something. No big bucks. That's the whole idea. And the way I'm doing this, like I said, I'm doing it a piece at a time, so I can use it at any time. So if I got to haul something, I can still haul something. This car's not going to be in 50 million pieces. I only had the door panel off, you know, big deal, right? Well, that's the first time I had this door where it's all sealed up. I can fix this crack too with a little bit of a 3M panel adhesive, part number 08115. It's like a glue, better than JB Weld, and paint over it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give this a little quick coat of paint. Even painted over the screws that are a little rusty. So that's a hell of a lot better than it was. Hell of a lot better. Get the armrest on there and door handle, a little thing. We're all set. And for you people that don't know about these door handles, how to install, you can see there's a little serrated edge on here, and there's like a clip that goes in this groove right behind here, and you can see it on the door handle itself. See the horseshoe clip? Yeah, you can push those out with a little screwdriver, but there's a special tool for them. I used to always pull them out special with the screwdriver. And when you install them, see, that's about even with the other side. And just tap them on there. Yep, that's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I went over this thing a little bit with some, well, it was called, what do you call that stuff? Awesome cleaner. But then I went over it with some, what do you call that stuff again? Starting fluid, which is chemically cleans it. And this stuff still works. Sem. Let's give it a quick coat. Since I chemically cleaned it in this area, it'll take care of these scratches. But what's cool about this stuff is it actually melts into the plastic. So if the plastic is turning brittle, I figure what the hell, I'll give it another coat of this stuff. I gave it a coat years ago instead of buying this shit, a new panel. So anyway, that's concluded, and I'll be starting this thing up here pretty soon. As soon as this paint dries. Yeah, the beauty is with this battery now, I have this disconnect. It's like a heavy duty copper disconnect. So like this thing hasn't been started in a couple months, and I'm going to check the fluid on it before I bring it down. I'm going to check all the differential and all that kind of crap, the grease. But I'm going to be starting it up. But I checked my battery, and it was 12.7 volts after 2 months because it was disconnected. They do that all the time in used car dealers. They'll disconnect the batteries, but it's nice having something like this where you just flip a switch down and you got connection. That's very convenient for this because I don't use it too much, but then when I use it, I haul something with it. So I might be getting something here pretty soon that weighs about a few hundred pounds or so from True Value Hardware, and I'll be needing this, so that'll be good. The other thing I got in here too is, like, this is a toolbox. It's made in Canada, just as good as the USA as far as I'm concerned. It's bolted down on the inside with some wing nuts and fender washers. So, you know, it's locked too. It's got like a cheap padlock on it. So if I want to use the whole bed, I just open up the top, take out the big wing nuts on the bottom, and I can slide this out of here, and I can got the full-size bed. So that's another thing I do too. That's why I've always, instead of installing a big toolbox that's metal and it's permanently installed, you still can't walk off with it. And you know, I got a toolbox, and then when I need to use the whole bed, it's 10 minutes to take this thing out, and nobody can pull it out because the bolts are inside and it's locked. Well, I mean, you still break it, but you can break the lock, but I mean, it's locked, and the bolts are on the inside. So that's another handy thing with this. I like this car though. This El Camino is like a car and it's like a truck. And the stuff they're going to be coming out in 2016 ain't going to work like the 78. I'll tell you that right now. 78 and prior, that's the ones you want.